Hey, Marla, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing quite fine, and thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And you see, Marla, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things, okay? And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Marla, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you
Thank you.
are on this platform right now, right here, because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Marla, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Marla, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Marla, just recently, I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, but ripe mangoes. So it was a beautiful moment for me that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing mother that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, the impact your work is having, your philosophies, your insight, how you're offering your solutions. It's amazing. And just before you got the request from me, Mala, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Mahler's doing, not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Mahler. So thank you so very much for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for that beautiful thing.
Beautiful. So let's get started. You see, Mahler, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for, let's see, two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Mala, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Mala, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Marla on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, high-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Marla, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. Because right now, we are just so curious. We want to know how Mala got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Mala, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, my professional journey has been both a professional and a personal journey. I often say I am a recovering corporate executive. I spent 30 years in professional services and financial services as a head of marketing, customer experience, general management. I ran American Express Concierge. And then right around 2020, I found myself looking for more. And so during the time that I think we were all put on a pregnant pause, I used that time to go on a bit of a spiritual journey And I had a lot of individuals put themselves in front of me for a reason in a season, as I like to say. But what it really did was it enabled me to expand my consciousness and to look at things differently and to switch from the world of control to the world of clarity. And as that journey started to come to an end, I realized that I didn't want to go back and do more of the same. What I wanted to do was be in service to other individuals, successful individuals who also were asking that question of themselves, how do I become fulfilled? So I went back and I got certified as a coach, but I realized I had really been coaching and mentoring for 20 plus years as I was already in corporate. And so it very easily put me on this journey where I am working with people so that they understand that their presence is their power, and that, although high achievers often look like they have it all together until they don't, it's we're now working with them and getting them to be fulfilled. So that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. And that's a great one you're doing. And because of what you're doing now, we're going to have a lot of people who will be changing their world. And that's amazing. I love that. Okay, so let's begin with the first question. Let's talk about businesses for a start, all right? So, what keeps businesses together?
I you went off my screen. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me repeat that. I said, what keeps businesses? Can you talk to us about?
Oftentimes, yes, absolutely. Oftentimes, businesses are stuck because they are trying to work through improving what they're doing based on how they got there. They're not taking that step back and investing in themselves to make sure that they have alternative viewpoints. You talked about seeking knowledge, learning new ways of doing things, um, asking for help, even from their own internal resources. So it's about not doing the things they've always done. Another thing that I see businesses often challenged with is they're stuck because they're afraid of growth. They often have people who can't manage time or aren't taking on new initiatives. I often say, growth comes from difficult situations. People don't want to make their lives or their schedules any more complex than they already are. So they find themselves just continuing to do more of the same. Um, the growth happens when the business owner or the leader of the department says, how do we do things differently so that we can get to where we want to go?
How do we do this different? I got that. Okay, so what about smarter decisions? How can smarter decisions lead to?
Smarter decision making is taking, again, this sort of goes back to what I was talking about. It's about getting all the facts and recognizing your biases. So all of us come to the table based on how we were raised, what religion, what our political perspectives are, and it's being open to getting information and to recognizing. So I talk to a lot of leaders about self-awareness, self-management. It's recognizing when we're not hearing or are opening ourselves up to getting independent and different pieces of information so that you can go through the right decision making processes. The other way to make smart decisions is to not do it in a vacuum. If you can be transparent and authentic and vulnerable and work with your teams, whether they're teams of peers, a leadership team, or the team that you're working with to get a project done, ask for input, ask for what could go wrong, ask for somebody's perspective on, if we go down this path, even though we've said it's final, what's going to keep you awake at night? Those are things that are inputs that allow leaders to make better decisions.
Hmm. These are invaluable information. And thank you for making it quite easy to understand, Marla. I love it. I love it. Hey,
Elisha,
so
are
let
you
us
there?
look at how top leaders think. Oh, sorry about that. My network went off. I said that was a
What
very
was it?
invaluable information. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you get the question, or should I repeat it? Or you've answered it
Please,
already.
please repeat
Okay.
the question. I
Be-
lost you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I said, let us look at our top leaders. Let us look at how they think. How do top leaders think?
How do top leaders think? I think the difference between somebody who is a very strong leader and someone who is just an average leader, they are thinking not about how to do something, but who they can have involved in doing the project or executing against the goal. This is something that Dan Sullivan, who's a very published author, speaks a lot about. But oftentimes you have people that are in lower level positions of management that are worried about how do I get from point A to point B. They don't think about who can I put around me or on the project to make sure that we are executing to the best of our ability. I also have worked with leaders who never want to hire someone smarter than themselves because they're afraid. They're afraid of being found out. I have oftentimes, while I was hiring teams, I would hire someone who maybe had better skill sets than I did in certain areas because I knew I didn't need another me. I needed somebody else to lean on who might be smarter in that area, might have already had the experience that I don't have. The more diversity that you have around you, the better decisions you're making, the better leader you are. Because not everyone is going to excel at the exact same thing, which is actually a good thing. So, those years that I was running marketing, I wanted my creative director to be creative. I wanted the person who was responsible for copy to be able to hit it out of the park in copy, but I didn't need them to be able to use Canva. So you want to put the right people in the right seats on the bus, and really strong, impactful leaders have an innate ability to identify who those people need to be and where they need to be positioned to accomplish what their goals are.
I've got to clap for you. That was very insightful, and thank you for sharing it that way. Beautiful, Mala. Okay, so
Thank
I'm
you.
curious right now. Yeah. How do you get fast, measurable results for your client?
Okay, so this is what I will say differentiates me as I went into coaching. What I have found is there are a lot of people that went back and got quote unquote certified, and they went into coaching and they wanted a high ticket offer, and they asked people for a year, and really what they're doing is they're providing a cookie cutter result for them. And someone might sign up because they want to learn how to do lead generation on LinkedIn or whatever it is. That's not who I am. What I do is I sit down and I really understand what someone's immediate goal is. And I ask them for 90 days, because most people, when they start a new job or you're doing something, you have to have a 90, 100-day plan, depends on which book you read. But that's really identifying what's your goal, what's your tactics to get there, and then also what's going to prevent you from doing it. So we work together to achieve those goals, but I'm also working with them to mitigate those challenges that might stop them from doing it. And what I have found within my practice anyway is to offer what I call a bonus session, but it's really a mind work session before we even start. And I ask people open ended questions that most times a leader doesn't want to tackle, but it's what mask are you wearing? Who is it you're telling yourself you are versus what it is you want to be? Because oftentimes it's our own filters and our own negative speak that is in our way. So when we have that session, it's giving me the insight and the permission to challenge them when they're not making measurable progress against that 90-day goal. So we talk in 90-day terms and we measure week and session against session to make sure that the person is putting in the work to get to the goal. Does that make sense?
Awesome. That's a wonderful approach. And now I see why you're so good at what you do. I love that. Okay, so we have just a few questions left. Mm, so, what growth strategies do most people overlook?
Yeah, I did get it. That's a good question. I think investing in themselves. I was fortunate. I had two different CEOs, investing coaches for me. And what that did was it helped me figure out how to communicate, especially the first coach. I was really young in business. I was a 30 something year old, and I happened to be in an impactful position within the organization. And I was working with a bunch of men over, 50. And what that person did was it helped me communicate impactfully and effectively. It gave me the ability to have more influence. So I would say investing in oneself. I would also say you talked about early on when we first started speaking about seeking knowledge, seeking information and different ways of doing things than the way they've always done it. I will never forget, just a quick story. I had stepped in about 4 years out of university into a role, and I had a boss say to me, "We need to get XYZ done." And my biggest challenge was this person who decided to mentor me and take me under their wings, but what they were really doing was trying to hold me back because what they wanted was to do it the way we've always done it because it was going to secure their job. So oftentimes it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt that are in the way.
Got that. I got that. So, lastly, how can service businesses, how can they scale?
So service-based businesses, like I said, I spent most of my career in professional services businesses. They are not traditionally able to grow like a product business with marketing, social media campaigns for prizes and promotions. What they really need to do is have a very structured and strategic marketing approach that includes helping each individual within the organization have a professional brand so that they're memorable. It's also about networking and getting the word out. It is about having, again, those right people in the right seats in the bus. I was part of an organization recently where the CEO believed every single person should be responsible for sales. That doesn't work. People have different skill sets. It's making sure that you have the right people in the right seats. You have a strategy for growth. Those people are impacting the new opportunities, but they're also every single person, whether it's the receptionist, the virtual VA that's out there DMing for people, which is so commonplace today in services industries, is making sure that the customer experience is so stellar that there's referrals, there's the right amount of Google reviews, LinkedIn reviews. Your website needs to be up to snuff. It's about having that actual relationship with everybody that you're engaging with. So it's very much an authenticity, and it's being from the heart, and it's making sure you are, if you're a service-based business, you are in service to your clients and your customers, and it's remembering that, and it's acting on your services brand promise.
Very, very practical. That was a beautiful one. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Marla, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about the beautiful things that you're doing, or if you've got questions, how can that be?
The easiest way is my website. It is just marlabace.com, and my LinkedIn is also Marla Bace. You can learn more about me, what I've done, how I interact. I have those testimonials and those reviews there. The thought that I want to leave with folks is we as a society have our challenges right now, whether it's political divisiveness or whatever our path is forward in your personal and in your professional life. Try and check those things at the door and bring your full self and your authentic self to whatever it is you're doing. And if you lead with your heart first, you will make the right decision and you will be empowered to have success. And I wish every one of your viewers much success for 2025.
Hmm. Powerful words. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Mila. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. This eye-opening stuff and invaluable information. It means
Thank you. Will you be in touch with when this is getting posted and all of that?
beautiful.